Hey there, adventurers. Just want to welcome you to the first ever episode of the Unpacked series. This is going to be something completely different where we just kind of talk off the cuff and we'll talk about things that are travel related, some of them fun, some of them tips or life lessons that I've learned in the world of travel. And some of them will just be things that I might be struggling with as a travel agent or a travel content creator or just general old person who likes to go to theme parks. Things like that. So yeah, definitely want us to get to know each other better and get the chance to kind of just have a conversation and not be quite so edited and B-roll and voiceover and all that fun stuff as well. So if we haven't met yet, my name's Stephanie. I'm with Unconditional Adventures, and I love theme park travel. I love cruises. I love going to all inclusives. Basically, I'm just a kid in an adult's body, and I'm sitting here asking you to love me like in Notting Hill. Yeah, it's just kind of brand new to the content creation world. I've only been making videos for about 5 months or so now. I make not only these kind of videos for YouTube, but when it comes to like strategy videos, I make those for my travel clients. Mostly theme park strategy, but I've also made some for like cruise line strategies and things like that, all-inclusive strategies, stuff like that. I also do a lot of the travel agent side of things when it comes to like content creation for that. So I might make videos that will help explain Lightning Lane better and things of that nature. So, and then yeah, I make a lot of just overall tips and tricks when it comes to theme park travel, cruises, solo adventures, and then travel for LGBTQ plus as well. So those are kind of my specialties, but I use this as a platform to, again, just kind of get to know other content creators, to get to know you guys, those of you that are traveling or want to travel, give you some inspiration, point you in the right direction, give you some tips, tricks, all that good stuff. And then, of course, if you wanted to use me as a travel agent, I'm probably not going to say no. So I try to use that to help benefit that side of the business as well. But today, I kind of wanted to just talk about where things are at in this whole process for me. As I film this, I'm 46 years old. Like I said, I've been doing the content creation side of things for about 5 months. I've been a travel agent since early 2021. So what is like right now, that would be about 4 years. And yeah, it's certainly a struggle at times. Like I said, I'm 46 years old, and currently on YouTube, as of this afternoon, I have 46 subscribers, which is like sometimes feels cool, and then other times I feel very frustrated and behind the curve. I look at a lot of the other content creators that I follow, whether they're newish or have been around for a while, and it's very hard for me to not see what they're doing and see what they're accomplishing, and of course, to want that as well, and be jealous to a degree of wanting to be at that level, and I'm just not. I try to go to some of the like premiere events to get content and footage to make YouTube videos, things like a premium Scream night at Halloween Horror Nights. And then I see these other content creators who were offered to go to media night for Halloween Horror Nights. And they've obviously put in the time, they've put in the work, they've been around this and doing this a lot longer than I have. But it just, it, as any human being would, it gets frustrating or discouraging to feel like I'm just constantly running behind and not as good as what other people are, or not as far along. I remember when I first started getting to 10 likes on a video, and I was super stoked. Now I think my most popular video is sitting at around 620 something not likes, views is what I meant. My most popular video is sitting around 626 views. And, I just haven't been able to break that 1,000 view mark. Same with subscribers. It feels like it's going really slowly. But it's hard not to get discouraged by those things, right? And the quote that I keep going back to, of course, which I see all the time, is comparison is the thief of joy. That was President Teddy Roosevelt that said that. And it's so true. Like when I compare myself to other people who are much further along, who have been doing this far longer than I have been, and I look at them, posting a video that's been up for an hour, and if I post a video and an hour later it has 5 views, like I get a high five from YouTube going, holy crap, look at you, and I see these other people who put out videos and an hour later they're at 10,000 views. Of course, that's going to make me feel discouraged and make me feel like I'm not good enough or not doing enough. It's hard for me to remember at times that they started in the same place that I am starting in, and they have worked and worked and worked. They've built their niche. They've, marketed. They've done the social media game, all of those things, and just put in the time. When I first started doing this, that was one of the major things I heard was YouTube creators usually quit because it's a lot of work and it takes a long time to get where you want to be. And I can see that now. From the edited videos that I do, because I do have a full-time job, and I do also go to these events or theme parks and cruises and things like that. I go to them as a travel agent, trying to help my clients and stay, up to date on changes and strategies and things like that. So I'll go and travel, and that takes away time from content creation. Yes, it gives me more things to create content about later, but if I get in the flow of making one video a week and then I take a week off because I'm traveling, I can see it in my numbers and I have to kind of rebuild that momentum, things like that. So it's a constant balance back and forth of, trying not to be frustrated with how long it feels like things are taking. And really, the only person that I should be comparing myself to is me from yesterday, right? Looking at where I started 5 months ago and just looking at the momentum that I've built up. I started a travel blog at the same time that I started my YouTube channel to really kind of kickstart the content creation package and to use all of that to again push back to my travel agent services and to get that part of the business going. And I can see each of these things, kind of taking off and getting momentum in their own way. And that's exciting. And I'm very grateful for all of the opportunities that I've had and for the business that I'm continuing to build. But like any other person, sure, it gets discouraging. It gets, it just feels like it takes so long, it goes slow, all of those things. So kind of the lesson that I keep getting pointed back to, and this has come up in like daily affirmations that I listen to or podcasts that I listen to try to get myself motivated, things like that, is just literally the word patience. It keeps popping up everywhere I go. Everything that I'm studying and working on just reminds me to be patient, that if something is worth doing, it's worth doing well. And if something is going to grow, it's worth growing it the right way. And that's going to take time. And I'm not usually a patient person. I like for things to go the way I want them to go in the time frame that I would like them to go in, which just isn't realistic for most of life. And so, yeah, it's just a matter of being patient and really taking the time to build things correctly on the front end. As a content creator, getting better every single time I make a video, I look at, man, that didn't take me as long as it did last week, or looking at different ideas on ways to edit things differently, or do I do voiceover strictly, or do I record my voice while I'm making the video at the theme park, and just like all these different strategies and things that I can try, but looking at how I'm getting a little bit better each and every time. And that's what I can compare myself to. I can't look at these people that have 100,000 followers already and try to compare my numbers, because they're just not even going to be remotely the same. And one of the kind of realizations I had the other day, the place where I live has like a community garden, and I got a free garden plot this season. And I was like, okay, like I don't eat a lot of vegetables. I've mentioned that a few times on my videos. So I was like trying to find things that I would eat to plant. So I can get away with like zucchini and squash because I know how to cook them in ways that I'll eat them. And I grew some like cherry tomatoes, and I planted like some what I thought was dill and turned out to be basil, which is a different story of embarrassment, but like cilantro, a couple herbs and things. And I literally started from seeds back in the spring and early summer, and started the seeds on my patio, watered them, put in the soil, all that stuff, watched to see what came up, and kind of just getting them into bigger pots and getting them ready to grow and all that stuff. And then when they finally started sprouting enough, I moved them, slowly but surely moved everything over to the garden plot, put in the time, like pulled the weeds, got in there and made sure everything got watered, and tried to just put in the time and take care of them week after week after week. Sometimes I tried to plant easy stuff because I didn't know how I was going to do. So sometimes I would go down twice a week and check on the garden. Other times, once a week, just depending on my schedule, things like that. But I really tried to be faithful with it and make sure that I put in the time, did what I needed to do to help those things grow. And even that was kind of frustrating because some things grew faster than others. Some things never sprouted at all. And so it was, again, just like doing what I knew to do to try to see the growth in the future, right? And then we had one early June day where it just got hot for 4, 5, 6 days solid, like really hot. And I went down and watered the plants extra, making sure everybody was going to survive the heat, all that good stuff. And after that heat hit, everything just exploded. I'm going to try to throw some pictures in here just to show you because I was pretty darn proud. But I got so many zucchini, so many squash, and they were huge. I probably let them grow too much, but they were huge. And all of this came from a seed. It was just a matter of putting in the time, doing the work repetitively, doing it over and over, even though I wasn't seeing results in the beginning. And then I faced a little bit of pressure and some heat and problems or obstacles or whatever, and still continued on. And then boom, got this amazing harvest of zucchini and squash. And I was so proud every time I went down there. I only had like about 5 zucchini and squash plants and harvested all of them multiple times. And then the tomatoes came in after that. And I'm still grabbing some tomatoes that are surviving some of the colder temperatures now. But like, it was just so gratifying. And again, it was easy for me to look at all these other people's gardens that were down there. And some of them bought the plants had already flowered and they planted those into the garden plot. So of course their stuff sprouted ahead of mine and it started producing ahead of mine. And they were down there growing squash way before mine ever came in. And I got discouraged. I thought, man, did I mess up? Did I do something wrong? I'm not doing as well as them. Look at how much faster their stuff is growing. But we started in different places, right? I made sure I started from seeds, and some of them started with things that had already flowered. Other people planted different plants than I did, and so they grew at different speeds and flowered at different times because they weren't even the same vegetable. Or some people grew strawberries and some people just did flowers. Like, they all came in at different times because they weren't the same product. And so I'm really trying, and I don't always do a great job, but I'm really trying to hold on to the lessons of that, man, I really can't compare myself to anybody except myself and where I was yesterday, and then tomorrow looking at where I've gone compared to today. And really just trying to get better at what I do every day. Yeah, I can look to other people for inspiration. I watch a lot of other content creators to see what they're up to see if there's new things that I can try when it comes to filming style or editing style or new places to go and check out. I had never been to Knott's Berry Farm in my life. I'm from the Midwest, and so that just wasn't a thing. And then I moved out here to the West Coast, and like, I had heard of Knott's Berry Farm, but I saw several different creators that raved about it. So I went down there and tried it, and I'm making a video on it, and it was awesome. So I'm learning those, new places to go and things to try and stuff like that. But I can't compare my numbers to somebody else's numbers. I can't compare my experiences to other people's experiences. I also know I have a different niche of people that I'm talking to. I go solo a lot of places, and so I'm really trying to focus on making content that's good for solo travelers, even to theme parks, people who go to theme parks solo, or people who feel embarrassed to go to like Disney or Universal solo just because they don't have kids. I try to cater to those people and talk to those people. And same with like LGBTQ travel. There's places you can go, and there's definitely places that you don't want to go when it comes to being safe and accepted and not looked at funny or not potentially in a threatening situation. I know a lot of that stuff, and so I want to share a lot of those things. And that's not everybody's niche, right? So we're comparing. I was looking at different products, different things, and the growth of them at different times because I was comparing myself to other people, and the same with the garden. So I really learned a lot from that, and I just wanted to share that because it's been on my mind for a while about like just encouraging each other. I've gotten, in looking at other content creators and people who offer encouraging messages, all those people that make the video that's like, if you're over 40, you need to start a YouTube channel. Some of those people have really good things to say. And I've been watching their videos and I try to comment and have a conversation with those people of, hey, I was really discouraged. I appreciate this video because it pumped me up. And it reminded me that I do have a different focal point than some of the younger crowd. I do have more experiences in some things and different experiences in other things. And I can lend those experiences to people and give them ideas and tips and hope in some cases. That's what I want to do too. Is if this video can inspire you in some way to be like, hey, okay, I'm not going to give up. It is a lot of work, whatever the thing is. It doesn't have to be content creation or travel related, but just in my experience, that's where I'm coming from at the moment. Is I finally feel like I found something that I'm relatively good at, getting better at, and that I have this wealth of knowledge floating around in my head that I'm trying to figure out how to relay to people. And I'm going to keep getting better every single day. I've got strategies and tips and ideas and cool things, just even like cool trivia things about the places that I go that I like to share. And there are people that like to watch those things. So I just got to keep looking for them and finding those people. And I would encourage you on the same thing, whatever it is that you're putting the time into. Like if you know that it's the thing that you're supposed to do, just keep doing it. Like keep doing the reps, keep putting the time in. Don't let all the outside stuff tell you you're good or bad. Like just keep doing it, keep focusing on what you're doing, but don't compare yourself and where you are right now to people who have been doing it longer, who are farther ahead. It's not That's not your race, right? You're running your own race, you're at your own time. um, I You could use this in any field. I mean, you look at people who have gotten famous at young ages versus older ages, people who have put in, like Malcolm Gladwell talks about, the 10,000 hours. Like we look at some of these people who have put in 10,000 hours worth of work, and then we say, oh, they're suddenly famous, or they suddenly made it, or they suddenly accomplished this thing. No, they've been putting in a crap ton of work. We just didn't see all that work. And so I would just encourage you with that. Like, just keep going. Most people do give up when it gets hard. Most people will give up when they don't see the results that they want in the time frame that they want to see it. But man, you could just be right around the corner from the thing exploding, right? From that heat hitting it and your plant's just blooming. And then you got 14 zucchinis that you got to figure out what to do with before they go bad. So, the problems that we have. But just keep going. Like, yeah, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dream or your idea. Don't compare yourself to other people. Look at what you did yesterday and do better today. And then compare yourself tomorrow to what you're doing today and just keep getting better. Just keep taking another step and you're going to make it. I feel good about it. I feel good about the business. I feel good about being able to help people, to inspire people, make people laugh, to give people ideas, to just put a little joy or a smile on your face, give you ideas of where to travel, help you do it in the best way, to help you not get annoyed and not make mistakes that like I have made, and just to go see the world and let it change you and just take it all in and really enjoy that. And let's figure it out together. So drop me a comment if you're in the same boat. If this encouraged you in some way, say hi. Feel free to share this out. But yeah, let's just continue to keep growing together and keep encouraging each other. And let's build this thing. All right. Thanks, guys. Happy adventuring.